So hopefully technology is on our side today after last week's issues with technology, and I'd be very pleased to welcome number 194, Steve Cecil Anscombe, to the show. Are you there, Steve?
Yes, I am. Hello.
Hello, Steve. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Oh, yeah, it's good. It's good to have you on the show. So hopefully we're going to be getting a few faces from the bank show over time to take our quiz. So we'll do a quick interview first. We've got a few questions. How did you get started in manga racing to begin with?
I was pretty much born into it, really. All the family sort of loved racing, and I think my first ever race event was probably a speed weekend back in 1974. And that makes me sound very old, but yeah, that's pretty much where it started. About 8 weeks old.
So with that family thing, no nerves having Jack and Abby involved, or is it like standard nerves that any dad would, but knowing that you've been there as well?
Yeah, I think any parent's going to be nervous, obviously seeing their kids go out there, but having done it for so many years, you know what it's all about. I've been in that situation myself, so I think just the amount of fun you get out of it was enough for me to want them to do it, just because it's just such a giggle all the time.
So how did it come about that you went from like being a driver to starting Rent-A-Rookie and then obviously going into building cars for UK Action Cars and everything? How did that come about?
Well, I've always liked building the cars. It's a lot of the fun of racing is the actual prep of the cars. And I got asked to build a few cars for people, for friends, people that just couldn't do it themselves. And especially at the time, I was struggling a little bit to get any sort of sensible work after my illness. And it just seemed to be a bit of a mad decision, but a decision just to make it into a business. Why not? Just give it a go.
I think that must be everyone's dream, to actually turn what their passion is into being their day-to-day work. So I think that's something
it certainly was.
Yeah. And if you had some tips for people wanting to get in, obviously, if someone wants to get involved, you provide obviously a service that would be able to help first timers. But if you had some tips for first time people wanting to get involved, how would you go about that?
Well, the main thing is obviously you've got to have a passion for it. It's very time consuming and very expensive, and I don't think people realise that when they're first getting into it. So you've got to really have a passion for it. But at the same time, if you're a bit of an adrenaline junkie, then it's one of the sports that you're going to enjoy. So just give it a go, to get out there and just see if you like it or not. That's why we provided the service, because it's less expense, less time, and you can just get out there, see if you like it. If you get that buzz straight away, then you can commit that time and money to it.
Yeah. So we've got a few questions from the cage community. The first one's coming from Mark Josie, the better Josie. Sorry, Matt.
That's okay.
So Mark Josie wants to know what it was like racing in Barbados when you've been over there for those couple of years.
It was an awesome experience, something totally different. I mean, we was completely honoured to get the opportunity to go out there and show off our sport to a community that, to be honest, absolutely loved us. It was racing on a proper circuit, so no Armco, no fences to crash into, just gravel traps and grass, which was nice. But yeah, it was around a proper circuit, so it was probably going back to the old days when they used to race around Brands Hatch and Lyddon and places like that. So it was great out there. Like I say, the crowd absolutely loved us. We went back again for a second time, and current plans to do it again. So yeah, it's an absolute privilege and an awesome opportunity to go and do it.
It can't be that much fun being in a fire suit in Barbados heat, though, surely.
Yeah, I must admit it was extremely hot. I know the first time we were sitting there waiting for the first race, and I drank 2 litres of water, just sat there waiting to go onto track. So yeah, it was. It's nice, but we're not going to grumble about the heat.
So Wayne Davis has asked, who would you rate as a young gun crasher? So a young gun coming through the ranks, but he's also said you can't include Jack in this. So
yeah, I mean, there's such a big selection of drivers coming through now. I mean, there really is some awesome kids coming through. I mean, they're great to race against. I think they like to give the oldies a bit of a hard time sometimes. It's hard to really pick out one or two. I mean, I've watched a lot of them come up through ninjas, through the junior bangers and various different junior formulas. I think at the end of the day, I mean, I've been a kid there once before. Obviously, I've also got the two doing it myself. I think just any kid that's got the nerve and again the passion to get out there against the adults, I think is just awesome. So, good luck to all of them. There's some great little drivers. Certainly going to be at the top of their game when they're a little bit older.
Lee Jordan wants to know why you let Terry Boxall into the Dreamers.
I thought a question like that might pop up. Yeah, Ginge is awesome. He's a lovely bloke, but I think he's sort of like everyone's got to have a ginger in the group. So,
we've got. Well, I'm the ginger on this podcast, so I can relate.
You see, everyone's got to have a ginger in the group, so that's why he's there. No, he is actually an awesome bloke, great team player, and at the end of the day, we're all a good bunch of mates. We all take the mickey out of each other all the time, and Gingy, he's not shy to take one for the team.
Yeah, we're also quite big fans of Ginger on this podcast as well because he put Cage loud and proud on the front of his car for the 2 Litre World Final, which was really.
Yeah, I see him. It took him about 3 days to sign right on there as well.
Oh, did it? Well, we appreciate his effort.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
And the last question from the community from Chardonnay Brown: outside of racing, what would you say was your favourite thing to do? What's your biggest hobby outside of racing?
To be honest, I'm completely opposite to adrenaline. I like to chill out. I enjoy my time at home with my wife and obviously the kids when we're not racing. Just like to go and do something just totally different. So if it's taking a dog for a walk in the park, or whether it's just a nice beer in a pub garden, just nice to just go and just chill out and not have the worry and stresses of what you've got to be doing and that sort of thing.
So before we move on to the quiz, from the other guys on the podcast, any other questions for Cecil?
Yeah, I've got one quickly, and it's regarding, was there ever plans for a Banger Boys Series 2?
It was something that was spoken about, but we was never fully committed to it, and the channel was sort of like wanting to maybe do a second one, but it was very, very time consuming. And obviously it's not something that we get paid for. It was something that we just do for the love of it, really. But it was there had to be something better if we was to go and do a second series, which meant spending a lot more money just to make it better, just to make it different. We felt it probably was, especially after 8 episodes, it become a little bit samey. So we wanted to basically just make it bigger and better, and I don't think the channel wanted to. So the second series never went ahead.
That's a fair response.
You could have spent 8 episodes trying to see if you could ever get Hoss on that horse.
You'll never get Hoss on a horse. I don't think the horse would take it.
Okay. All right, any more questions from the guys?
Yes. Steve, just quickly, obviously you raced in the Team Blitz colours Sunday at Skegness. How was it actually racing in them old school famous colours?
Again, it was awesome. Gary rung me earlier in the year. Obviously, Gary Madrid was putting the team together, and as soon as he rung me, it was a definite yes. It was an awesome few years we had back in the 90s racing and in the Team Blitz colours. And as soon as he mentioned it, it was a definite. It's a shame there was only 2 of us out at the meeting in the end, but me and Gary still thoroughly enjoyed it. Managed to come out unscathed and out of trouble, noses clean, and managed to nick the victory. So we'll definitely be going back next year as Team Blitz to defend, and already working on it to hopefully get a full team next time.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. It's good to hear.
Just one quick question, Cecil. Obviously, Bodger Pete Osborne was part of the first series of Carnage, and obviously after that, has that inspired you to do the second series next year?
No, it's a great show. It looked awesome on telly, but again, it's another one of those shows that's so time consuming. It's a long time out there filming. It's a lot of prep time back here making the vehicles. And obviously, with so many other things going on, I wouldn't put a team forward for it. So I don't know whether any of the other guys are. It'd be nice to. It's good to see Pete Gordon and Joe on the show. So hopefully we'll get a few more, and hopefully a few more banger teams, because I thought Kev and Winnie come across really well on it. And hopefully, let's fill it up with some banger teams. So it'd be great to see on telly. But as for me, no, it's you've seen enough of me on telly. You don't need any more.
No, we've never seen enough of you yet, Cecil. There's still plenty of time yet.
Yeah, well, there's often other things coming up, but yeah, for me, I won't go for Carnage Series 2. Not only that, I think the hits are too hard, so I'm getting old now.
Well, thanks for the interview, Cecil. It's now time to move on to our quiz. I'm just going to run over the rules again. I'm not sure if you've heard the quiz before, but I'll run over the rules now. So you'll get 10 questions. You have 90 seconds to answer as many of the 10 questions as you can. If you pass on a question, I'll come back to it at the end if there's time. What'll happen is I'll ask Matt to take us on the rolling lap. The listeners at home will hear the rolling lap music, but as soon as he says the words green, 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 I'll start asking the questions. You get one lifeline, and you use that lifeline by saying thumbs down, thumbs down. When you do that, the timer will stop, and I'll give you a clue. As soon as I give you the clue and you have a guess at that clue, we'll start the timer again. So it's 10 questions, 90 seconds. So far, the leaderboard, Ed Fahey, another one of our panellists, scored 7. And 152, Mr. Grumpy James Dillon, also scored 7. So they set the bar pretty high, but also if you can get to the top of that leaderboard, that's something to aim for. Okay. And so is that all clear? Ready to start? Clear. Okay. So Andy, are you on the clock?
Yep, I'm ready.
Andy's ready on the clock. Mr. Josie, are you ready to take us on the rolling lap?
Yes, I am. We're going to go on the rolling lap now. Green, green, green.
What year was the first Civil War?
2000.
Correct. Who is the current Arlington Unlimited Open champion?
Jeffro.
Incorrect. What is the common name for the style of destruction derby where drivers start facing each other on the straight?
American.
Incorrect. Who won the Mayor Ford Memorial of the Roy Rawlins Testimonial this year?
Thumbs down. Thumbs down.
Okay. So stop the clock, Andy. And the clue is he's a member of DWA.
Mikey.
Correct. Stop the clock, Andy. Who was the firecracker champion the year after you were? You can pass it. Yeah, it was Boxer. What charity is the Bears bashing aid of this year?
Rocking Horse Appeal.
Correct. Who did Dean Wood buy Speedworth from?
Mark Eaton.
Correct. What year did he buy it?
2004.
Correct. What was the last non-Mondeo to win the PRI World Final? What car was the last non-Mondeo to win the PRI World?
6.
Incorrect. Who was the first in-car race 2-litre world? Who won the first ever in-car race 2-litre world final in 2003?
Pass.
That's your last question, so if there's a bit of time, you can have a guess on that one.
My favourite in-car race driver, Mark Oldsworth.
Correct.
And red flag.
Red flag on that one.
Time. I think that's a guess. That's it. Okay. So out of the ones you've got wrong, who's the current Arlington Unlimited Open champion? The clue would have been he's a member of Cream Team. What would you have guessed at that?
Yeah, Black Nuts.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And the common name for the style of DD, where drivers start facing on the straights, it's named after the old Aldershot Raceway.
Fleet Style.
It's a Fleet Style. And the other one, last non-Mondeo to win the PRI World Final, it was 2008, won by Jack Overy.
Yeah, don't know.
It's a Mark II Granada.
Right.
But yet again, we've scored 7. So
Again.
that's now 3 people tied on 7.
Well, at least I'm not last.
Yeah.
No.
Well, unfortunately, Cecil, you are both last and first.
Oh.
All at the same time. I love that.
That's controversial. I think we should have a quiz off.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're top at the end of the year, we'll do some sort of weakest link style quiz off. But
Yeah. A whole podcast dedicated to that.
yeah. Thanks for your time tonight, Steve. It's been an absolute
That's
pleasure
right.
having you on the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it too.
No worries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just before you go, if someone wants to rent a rookie from you, how can they go about that?
Just send us an email to obviously info@cecilsrentarookie.co.uk or check out our website www.cecilsrentarookie.co.uk.
Thank you very much, Steve.